We always hear people say, why did they make a Tarkin? Why did they make a Tarkin in the Star Wars line? Well, it started getting me to think, what other figures didn't we get in popular toy lines? So let's take a look. We didn't get a Tarkin. Heard it said a lot. Be honest with you, I don't think I ever cared about not getting a Tarkin as a kid. So we're going to look at 10 figures we didn't get. Number 10, of course, being Tarkin. Now, let me say, I'm talking about the original lines. You know, they tell me in the 90s they made a Tarkin or blah, 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 they made this. Because we're talking about when these toys first came out. Now, why did they make some of these toys? Some of it could be likeness right issues. We're going to see at least one of those is a reason. That's not the reason for Tarkin. I've done a whole video explaining Tarkin already. Maybe they were saving something for Series 2 and the line got canceled. That's always a possibility. So let's go with number 9. And this one's more, I try to keep it more 70s and 80s, but this is 90s. I guess technically 1989 also. The Batman movies. Remember the Batman movies of the 90s? You had Michael Keaton as Batman twice. And then you had Val Kilmer as Batman. George Clooney as Batman. Okay, the first one's good. Batman Returns is okay. But you know what we never got? Alfred. We never got an action figure of Alfred. And he's the same actor as in all those movies. That's not the only thing, but it's like the main thing that links all the movies together. And it's weird. How could they not have gave us at least one Alfred? One. Doesn't make any sense at all. How about this one? Number 8. Now I'm scratching my head when I was a kid about this one. He-Man's mom. Yeah, I can't remember her name. I think she was a Queen Madeline or something. Maybe Madeline was her name or something. Start with the M. Now, she wasn't a great character, but they did make his daddy or his stepdad the king. So you think they could have made her? I didn't even know they made the king until I got older and started looking back at my toys. I was already out of He-Man, I guess. You think them two would have been early. Or at least when they did the Tarin playset. Should have came with both of them there, I guess. Remember the A-Team action figure line? Galoob made it, the A-Team. There was one member we didn't get. Now, I'm not talking about that Spanish guy that came in the last season. I'm talking about a major character, at least in this first season. Amy Allen. Hold on before you say we did get an Amy Allen. No, we did get it in the tall line, but in the small line, we didn't get an Amy Allen. Didn't even get a Decker or a Lynch. Could at least give us a Lynch. There's a free one right there. It's not part of the normal list. But Amy Allen should have been there. Should have been there. She was a main character back then. I know George Parr didn't like her and everything. Maybe he said, hey, you can make one, make the big one. Don't make the small one. I doubt it, but who knows, right? In the late 70s, Star Trek came back out. Star Trek was back. The motion picture. Remember that? And you would have thought we would have got all the original crew members back in their motion picture uniform. Well, we got Kirk. We got Spock. We got McCoy. We got Scotty. But what about the rest of the crew? Come on. We didn't get Uhura, Chekhov, or Sulu. Now, they could have saved them for Series 2 we never did get. But we should at least got the original crew. Should have got the original crew before they made that bald-headed lady and that guy from Tales of the Golden Monkey. They got figures, but no Sulu, no Chekhov, no Uhura. Speaking of the 70s, what about the TV show Welcome Back, Kotter? Remember it? Great TV show, right? Well, we got the Sweat Hogs, of course, and we got Mr. Kotter himself. But you know who was on the show almost every episode? I think it was every episode. Now I think about it, at least more than John Travolta. And that was Mr. Woodman, the principal. And you know what you need in an action figure line? A villain. There was no villain. Had the Sweat Hogs, had the teacher. Mr. Kotter's not a villain. He hangs out with the Sweat Hogs. One of the gang. Should have had Mr. Woodman. He could have came with a little piece of paper, put it in his hand, give people attention or something. I don't know. Could have came with something. Now here's one you're going to say, Junkman, you shouldn't count this one, but I'm going to count it. Remember Kenner's Bionic Woman line? It was a spin-off of the TV show $6 Million Man. Kenner did a successful line there. And you know what? They only made Bionic Woman. Who was our boss? Same as $6 Million Man, Oscar Goldman. He was on every episode, but they didn't make an action figure of him. Now they did in the $6 Million Man line, so they already had it. Just had to repackage him in a new box. That's all they had to do. I mean, how do you do an action figure line with one character? Like they did it like 3 or 4 times. Makes no sense whatsoever. What about Love Boat? Love Boat. Now we did get all the crew of the Love Boat. We even got that little Vicky girl. We got them all. Well, we didn't get the later season when they brought in, what, Tim McGinley? Then when they didn't get all that. But we did get the original Love Boat cast. But you know what? When you think Love Boat, what do you think about? Guest stars. Why didn't we get a guest star figure? They could just put a generic figure on the line and call it a guest star. Or gave us that. Who was that lady who shake her boobies? Ooh, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. What was it? Cha-cha, ching-ching, something like that. They could have gave her that. They could have done a whole line of special action figures, but we should at least got one special guest, even if it was just a generic everyday citizen. Should have got that. What about Buck Rogers? This is the one I had to double check and make sure they didn't make. I couldn't believe it. They didn't do Hulk. Now, true, he's only on about 11 episodes, but there's only 35 episodes altogether. But Hulk was a standout character, at least I always thought as a kid. And look at him. He would have made a cool action figure. Why didn't we get a Hulk? Oh, never know. And the last one is Planet of the Apes. Remember that Migos action figure line? And who's the main character of Planet of the Apes? No, not Cornelius. We're talking Charlton Heston as Taylor. And guess what? We didn't get a Taylor action figure. We didn't get a Charlton Heston action figure. Now, this is the one I was telling you about, some likeness right issue. Apparently, Charlton Heston didn't want them to make it, wouldn't let them use his likeness. So they did make a figure and called him Astronaut. But you think they could at least call it Taylor and just not made it look like him? But they didn't even try that. So we didn't technically get a Taylor action figure. Now, when they did the sequel, what was it, Beneath the Planet of the Apes? They did those two humans. We got those. Those two guys didn't care about likeness rights because never saw them again. So they was making their money, I guess. But we never got a Taylor. Now, again, the 90s, we did get it. I'm talking about in the original run. But that's to look at 10 action figure lines that was missing a key character. Let me know about something I missed. I'm sure there's something I didn't think of. Let me know in the comments below.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.